not for me.
What is actually going to stop you preaching? What will have to do to stop it?
Just make me agree.
Build your grave. That's it. You're not going to stop it.
أو دفاعا أو صمودا دوس على هامة أديان الخنا بائع الزور ولا تبق يهودا سمها إن شئت عنفا
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Allah Azza wa Jal, He refers to us in the most beautiful manner in the Quran. He calls us Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. He says, O you who believe, meaning O you people of Iman, of Aqidah, of Haqq, of people who not just of Haqq, but people who carry the Haqq and speak the Haqq. We understand, my dear brothers, that the Iman is not a declaration which you can just wish for or hope for or just think that it's just going to come to you. Rather, it is something which has a particular place, the Iman. And this is what we need to study now about the topic of Al-Iman. Yeah? Because without that, you can't be called a Muslim. Yeah? You can't be called a Muslim. And it's the most important topic to understand someone who is a mu'min, how this person could end up going into the kufr. Because the whole topic of Al-Iman would elaborate the takfeer clearly for us. Meaning, how does the shirk and the kufr occur in this particular zone? We understood a whole foundation now. We've got everything that we needed as a good foundation. Now we need to move forward with a course now, and we need to study how is that takfeer going to take place? What is that process that's going to happen? Because we need to be clear with regards to our understanding of Iman, so we don't end up on a wrong spectrum. Yeah? So we don't end up on a wrong spectrum, meaning any deviation, for example, like between the Khawarij and the Murji'ah. And they're on a complete different spectrum from one another. One says what? The Khawarij, they make takfeer on any sin. They believe Iman increases and doesn't decrease. And on the other hand, what did the Murji'ah say? Iman doesn't negate, and neither does it go up, and neither does it go down. With Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we're in between. We believe that the Iman would be affected by the sin, but doesn't take you outside the fold of Islam. Iman, it increases and decreases, but is negated by anything kufr or shirk. Yeah, and affected by anything ma'asi. It decreases with any sin and increases with the good with the good deeds. Increases with the good deeds. So we need to pose the questions now. Are the sayings part of Iman? Are the actions part of Iman? How do we judge if someone is a mu'min? How do we judge somebody if they're a kafir? How do we judge somebody's Iman? The first thing which we need to understand is, whose understanding of Iman are we going to take? Yeah? Because this is going to be one of the causes of deviation. Some sect will say, Iman is in the heart, according to my sheikh. Someone will say, it's on the heart and on the tongue, but it's not upon the limbs. The ayah said in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 137. The ayah said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فإن آمنوا بمثل ما آمنتم به فقد اهتدوا وإن تولوا فإنما هم في شقاق فسيكفيكم الله وهو السميع العليم. Allah said, and if they were to believe, the way you believe, they will be guided. And if they do not, then they are misguided and deviant, and Allah will deal with them, and He hears all and He sees all. This ayah explains to us the standard which we need to follow. Everybody, they have a particular standard that they follow in any area. Somebody is into mobile phone business. He has a particular standard that he needs to follow, whether it's Nokia, whether it's HTC, or the iPhone, or whatever it is. Somebody, he's into football. He's got a particular standard, meaning particular people that he's going to refer to. He's a scientist. He's got a particular standard. As a Muslim, you need to have a standard that you follow. Meaning, if we got a dispute amongst ourselves now on this issue of takfeer, because there's obviously a dispute on this topic, yeah? We won't be discussing otherwise we'll be talking about marriage, yeah, and nikah and wedding nights, yeah? But there's obviously a dispute amongst people. So who are we going to refer to? This ayah is the strongest evidence for us to understand the topic of Iman, and whose understanding of Iman Why? Because what did Allah say? فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ. Allah said, if you were to believe, if you were to have iman, the way the Sahaba they had iman, then you will be guided. Meaning the Sahaba's understanding of iman is binding upon us. And it is something wajib upon us to follow. Unless you want to be from somebody from the Ahlul Bidah or from Ahlul Hawa, that is a different story altogether. Yeah. But you must follow the Sahaba understanding. More than that, these are the companions, the Sahaba who we're talking about are those people who gave Bayatul Shajara. Bayatul Shajara, those people who gave the bayah underneath the tree. They put their hand in the hand of Rasulullah, and Allah revealed the ayah that Allah's hand is over their hand, meaning Allah is pleased with them. Who else has got this title? Which shaykh can say that Allah is pleased with him? No shaykh he can say that He is pleased with him. And more than that, Rasulullah said, if you were to take the iman of Abu Bakr on one scale and the iman of the entire ummah, the iman of Abu Bakr would outweigh the iman of the entire ummah. So whose understanding of iman do I want to take then? Abu Bakr should surely know what is iman and whose understanding is the best. And just to show you from the angle of ilmul hadith, I'm going to give you a brief example of why the Sahaba are so are praised so much, and how good they are, and how by not taking their understanding of iman, we in fact dismantle a lot of other hadith which we take. When we say taking the understanding of the companions, or taking the understanding of the Sahaba, what does that mean? Does that mean when I read a hadith, it says Ahmed bin Hanbal heard from Tawus, and Tawus heard from Abdullah bin Abbas, that he heard from Rasulullah? You could say that. But Sahabi understanding, when we say I'm going to refer to the Sahaba understanding, it has a much deeper meaning than that. If we study the pillars of hadith, just very briefly, and I'm going to cover this for about 5 minutes with you, yeah? The pillars of hadith, there's 2 pillars of ilmul hadith when you study Asul al-Fiqh or ilmul hadith. The first pillar is al-Isnad. When anybody wants to study the hadith, al-Isnad is what? The narrators. He wants to study the Rawi. Who are the narrators? What are their names? Yeah? So that al-Isnad, for example, will be a science known as ilmul riwaya. Ilmul riwaya is known as checking who were the narrators. Then the second pillar of hadith is known as the wording of the narration. The wording of the narration, meaning what was the word? Yeah? That's why if you want to know what is the purpose of somebody to study Asul al-Fiqh, because people talk about Asul al-Fiqh, Ulum al-Quran, in a good definition, the purpose of studying Asul al-Fiqh is number 1, to verify the text, and secondly, to understand and comprehend it. That is the purpose of studying Asul al-Fiqh, to verify the text, yeah, and to understand it. When we are talking about verification here now, or the pillars of hadith, we talk about al-Isnad and the wording of the narration, yeah. We want to check each biography of that Isnad, meaning each one of those Rawis, we want to check their biography. There's particular conditions of that particular Rawi that need to be checked, yeah. So the verification of al-Isnad, meaning the chain of narration in any hadith, it has particular matters which need to be checked. For example, the first being the first name. The first name of that Rawi. The second being the nickname of that Rawi. The title of him. Yeah? That is the toilet flushing. That happened to me as well. Yeah. In case you think he's doing something in there, yeah? Okay, his title. Who is the title? So for example, Umar. What's Umar's first name? Umar. Yeah? What's his nickname? Al-Faruq. MashaAllah. Okay, what's his title? What's his father's name? What is his grandfather's name? What's his date of birth? What's his date of death? And who's his sheikh? Yeah? So anybody who's a Rawi, that could be anybody. Could be Tawus, could be Abdullah ibn Abbas, could be Sufyan al-Thawri, could be Sufyan ibn Uyayna, could be Ahmed bin Hanbal. Anybody from the Salaf al-Salih, we want to check these particular matters of their biography. We want to verify. Then there's particular conditions for every Rawi. Yeah? There's particular conditions. First of all, the person must be Muslim. Can't be Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl heard from the Prophet. I don't take that type of hadith. What kind of hadith is that? Yeah? So the first one is that he must be Muslim. Meaning, what do we mean when he's Muslim? Meaning, when he heard when he heard from Rasulullah, that Rasulullah said so and so matter, he must have been a Muslim. Yeah? It can't be somebody who was a kafir. So it can't be, for example, XYZ person who in Mecca he was a kafir, he reports that Rasulullah said. No. If in Medina he became a Muslim, not a problem. But the person, he must be Muslim. That's the condition. First condition. He must be Muslim. Then he must be baligh. He must be mature. Yeah? That's why even the fuqaha and the ulama, they say, for example, when the person, he does trade, one of the conditions for the transaction to take place is the parties must be mature, must be sane, and must have sanity. Yeah? They must be mature and they must have sanity. So for example, some of the scholars, they say, if I go inside the shop and I try to buy a packet of crisp now from some brother's shop, and the owner is not there but his son is there, that transaction is suspended until the father comes. That's just another thing. I just want to inject that in there, just to give you an example what we mean by mature. Akil, the person must be sane. Adil, the person must be trustworthy. The person must be hafiz. By hafiz, we don't mean hafiz of Quran. We mean that the person must have good memory. And the person must also be dabit. Dabit meaning he carries the hadith verbatim. Yeah? So it can't be somebody, I think that's what he meant, or he carries the hadith verbatim. Otherwise, we're going to have complete disaster. It's going to be complete disaster for us. We're going to believe that the hadith is understood in one particular way, and you understand the hadith to be meaning in another particular manner. Now, why I'm mentioning all of this is just to show you, when we talk about the understanding of the companions, and we talk about all of these pillars and conditions of verification of the isnad, you will see what exactly, where do we check all of these conditions and who do we check from? There is something called hadith marfu. Hadith marfu is what? Tabi, Imam Ahmed, he heard from a tabi'i, for example, Tawus, and he heard from a sahaba, and he reports that Rasulullah said so and so matter. Yeah? When it comes to these conditions, yeah, we only apply them for the tabi'i, and the tabi, meaning we check his biography and his conditions, but we never check for the sahabi anything. That is agreed upon anybody who is a muhaddith. Anybody from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah who is a muhaddith, who reports hadith, they never check these conditions. Imam Bukhari, when he was running around and he was checking everything, he would never turn around and said, let me just check if Abdullah ibn Abbas, whether he was a Muslim or not. Let me check if Abdullah ibn Abbas, whether he was mature or sane or not. It goes without saying. What are you talking about? Allah would never praise those companions. Who's been guaranteed the Jannah is those companions those people who met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now there's another type of hadith, I didn't get a chance to write this before. It is known as hadith mawkuf. This is where people fall into a grey area where they don't take the understanding of the Sahaba. What is this talking about? The reason I'm mentioning hadith mawkuf, because some people, they say, we follow Sahaba understanding, but we reject hadith mawkuf. Anybody from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, from Al-Firqatul Najiyah, they take hadith mawkuf as part of their aqidah. Those deviants, they say we don't take hadith mawkuf, and we don't take hadith ahad, a single report narration. Hadith mawkuf. Okay. The reason why I'm mentioning this now is because those people who reject hadith mawkuf as a consequence of saying that I'm not going to take the Sahaba understanding, and hadith marfu, which is agreed upon many books, Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, it has hundreds of narrations which are hadith marfu. In this one we have 3 in the chain, for example. Hadith mawkuf. Imam Ahmed, he heard from his tabi'in. He heard from Sa'id ibn Musayyib, who heard from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Remember these conditions? Who are we checking those conditions against? From the Tabi'in, from the Tabi'i, from Abu Bakr. Now when we say Abu Bakr, who is Abu Bakr reporting from? Nobody. What is hadith mawquf? Hadith mawquf is what the Sahabi said as how he understood what Rasulullah said. Meaning, what is the meaning of what he heard? He's not saying he's not saying that I heard this directly from Rasulullah. Otherwise, that become saying of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hadith mawquf is tabi'in, he heard from a tabi'i who heard from the companion. Meaning the companions clear-cut understanding of what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he said. Now, if you reject this now, you'll end up rejecting that. Why is that? You know why? Because we never checked any of these conditions. Yeah, any of these conditions. We never checked them for Abu Bakr as-Siddiq because he's been praised, been mentioned in the Quran. All the ayahs, many ayahs we can talk about praising the Sahaba. If you reject this, you reject this. Why? Because in this chain is who? A Sahabi. So he has particular conditions, but we don't check any of those conditions. Show me one person, whether from any of the scholars who say, I need to go and check, Umar al-Faruq, whether he had good memory, whether he was sane or mature or Muslim. So this is just a way, just to enlighten you, just to show you that when it comes to taking the understanding of the Sahaba, it is something binding upon us, and it's not something that we can play around with. So when we talk about we're going to take the understanding of the Sahaba in relation to this topic of Al-Iman, then that is something absolutely vital for us. Now, as far as the Iman is concerned, the Sahaba, they understood the Iman to have three particular arkan. Three particular arkan. I'm going to wipe this off now, yeah? If you got this all down, these two. Yeah? You sure? You got it, yeah? Good, good. All right. I don't want to rattle your brain too much with that one, yeah? But all it was just to show you just a little bit that when it comes to the companions, how much they're being praised, that no one who is a muhaddith, who's a collector of hadith, none of them, they go around saying we're going to check all the conditions for Abu Bakr as-Siddiq or Umar. And those people who say we don't take the understanding of Sahaba, you're going to start to reject all of those other hadith which are found in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Those hundreds of hadith which are hadith marfu. So hadith marfu, hadith mawquf, massive topic. There's over 200 odd sciences in the school of fiqh, and I'm not a Suli, but that will make you understand a little bit. Okay, this is something you need to write down. These are known as the arkan. Arkan are the three pillars of al-Iman. Obviously, I could just write this in English for you, but I'm writing this with, how it's pronounced in Arabic, so you can memorize it. That's a B, by the way, yeah? Okay, those are the three arkan of al-Iman. The first, and this is in this order, and I'll prove to you why they're in this particular order. The first is known as al-Iqrar bil-Lisan. Al-Iqrar bil-Lisan is to say by the tongue. Say by the tongue. The Shahada, obviously. Al-Amal al-Jawari, meaning to have action of the limbs. And when we say action of the limbs, not just action of the limbs, we say to practice willingly by the limbs. Yeah? And thirdly, al-ittiqadu bil-qalb, to have conviction in the heart. To have complete conviction in the heart. And it's in this order. You'll begin to understand why we're mentioning this in this order. Whenever we talk about Iman, it is to testify with the tongue, to act willingly with the limbs, yeah, and to have belief inside the heart. The evidence for this can be found in Sunan Ibn Majah. Been reported that Ali ibn Abu Talib said that Rasulullah said, Iman is conviction settled in the heart, to testify by the tongue, and to act upon the pillars of the actions. Yeah? What you want to understand is Iman it does not mean faith, and it doesn't mean belief. Iman is not a relative notion, it's not a relative feeling, just not some state of mind. Otherwise, this would open up the doors for the murji'ah. And who are the murji'ah? Murji'ah, we said, are those people who separate the action from the iman. And let me give you some examples of those type of murji'ah. First, the murji'ah gullat. I'm not even going to the topic of the murji'ah, I'm just mentioning them very briefly. Some of the founders of the murji'ah gullat, the first was known as Jahm bin Safwan. Jahm bin Safwan, he said iman is only in the heart. And this is the one which is the easiest to follow. Ya akhi, you're drinking alcohol. Ya akhi, Allah knows what's inside my heart. This one become prevalent so much nowadays. The second one is known as the Karamiyah. So you got the Jahmiyah, the first one is Jahmiyah, the second is known as the Karamiyah, and these are the Murji'ah Gullat. And now and this stemmed from one individual known as Muhammad bin Karam. That's why it's known as the Karamiyah. They say iman is only on the saying. So one says iman is on the action, in the heart. The other one says it's only on the saying. Then there was another one known as Bishr. He agreed with both, and he disagreed with both. He agreed with Muhammad bin Karam and Jahm bin Safwan. He said the iman is the heart and the sayings, but not the actions. Those are known as the Murji'ah Gullat. Then you have something called the Ash'ira. Ash'ira are a sect who has many deviancies. For example, they reject some of the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. And what they say is, action is a condition or kamal to perfect that iman, but you can still have iman without action. What does that mean, kamal? Kamal meaning something which would be something which perfects the iman. So for example, wudu, it has particular kamal. Beard, it has particular kamal. What's the kamal of the beard? The Prophet said, grow your beard and trim your mustache. So what's the hukum for the beard? Fard, wajib for you to grow it. Yeah? Now, I have a permit to tidy up now and then. One hair grows a little bit out there, no problem. Or if you want to have one fist, no problem. But the kamal now, what is the kamal? The kamal means the best way to have the beard. The best way to have the beard is to let it grow from all directions. Left, right, center, north, south, east, west, we're all the best. Yeah, let the beard completely grow. That is the kamal. So what they say is that the iman, it is inside the heart and on the tongue, and it is perfected via the action. Meaning what? Meaning, if you do an action, nice, you have perfected the iman. But if not, does not matter. You still have iman. What does that open the door for? Meaning you could do action of kufr, doesn't matter. Because iman is only the action, the amal is only a kamal. Likewise with the wudu as well. With the wudu, it's sufficient for you to, for example, put the water on your face once. But the kamal is 3 times. You get more reward. Everything we want to look for the kamal in. We want to look for what is the best way, the closest to the sunnah. So that is the Ash'ira. But we're going to go into that next week. We're going to discuss what is who are the Murji'ah. So when we discuss iman, what is iman? Iman is also known as ibadah. These two terms, they go synonymous with each other. And just to give you some examples of that, for example, dawah. Dawah is iman. To slaughter a sheep, that is iman. Or maybe you want to slaughter something else. Jihad, that is iman. Commanding good, forbidding evil. Speaking the haqq. Badr, the battle of Badr, that was iman. Uhud, that was iman. The ayah said, when you threw the arrows, it was not you that threw. It was Allah that threw. You see? When you threw the dust, it wasn't you that threw, it was Allah that threw. You see, when you killed them, it wasn't you that killed them, it was Allah that killed them. That is iman. The tawheed is also known as iman. And this has been mentioned by Zayd ibn Thabit. He said, Al-Iman huwa al-Tawheed. Zayd ibn Thabit, he said, Al-Iman huwa al-Tawheed, and been reported in Hadith Mawkuf. Now you know what Hadith Mawkuf is. Mu'adh ibn Jabal, he said, Al-Tawheed. When he described what is Tawheed, he said, Tawheed is Al-Ifradullahi bil-Tabaraka bil-Ibadah. Tawheed is the exclusivity of the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then they asked him, what is ibadah? They said, that which Allah is pleased with, and Allah is, and wherever those matters are which Allah He is pleased with. Meaning, what are those matters which Allah is pleased with? Commanding good, forbidding evil, charity. So when we say iman, it is, I'm missing something here, you know that? Yeah, that's what it was. Good. Yeah, we say Iman. Iman is synonymous with Ibadah. However, when we talk about Iman, and we talk about the pillars of Iman, if we want to know about the intrinsic details of Al-Iman, then we go into the area of the branches of Iman. Like for example, the hadith said, Iman has 60 or 70 odd branches. Yeah? The lowest of them is to remove something from the road. The highest of them is Al-Wala wal-Bara. Yeah? Or the intrinsic details of Al-Iman, mean the detailed evidences of Al-Iman is like for example, the 6 pillars of faith. But before we discuss what is Iman, and I'm going to come back to this part, we need to discuss a topic called, we need to discuss what is talazum. Because those 3 pillars of Iman, they have a mechanism of coming together, and any separation of that is where the deviation is going to occur. So the prerequisite for Iman is known as al-talazum. Al-talazum is to mold the saying, the action and the belief together. And talazum, it comes from 3 words, 3 root words from a linguistic definition. Lazima, which means to keep together. Like for example, husband and wife, keep them together. He doesn't like her cooking, you can leave her. Alzama, something which is binding upon you. So for example, my word is binding upon you, yeah? Or the word which is binding upon you. What's the word which is binding upon us? The Quran. That's one example, yeah? Al-malzama, to bond 2 things together, which can't be separated. So when we say talazum now, when we say talazum, we say 2 things which cannot be separated. Likewise, we will say, for example, we don't say, I follow the Quran first and I follow the Sunnah second. No, we follow them together. Both they are wahi. Wahi, either the wahi from Allah Azza wa Jal, or wahi as far as the Nabuwa is concerned, as the sayings, the action and the consent of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this particular area of talazum, people, they make a number of mistakes. The first one is known as tafriq. Tafriq, it means to separate. Tafriq, it means to separate, and that is the opposite of talazum. The second is known as tafsil. One is incorrect, and the other one is correct. Tafriq is not what we want to do when it comes to any matter of this deen. And I'll give you many examples of that, yeah? Not to make separation in the iman. That is known as tafriq. But elaboration, tafsil, that is fine. So for example, if someone wants to say, we follow the Quran and the Sunnah, and we're going to study them, I'm going to study the Quran, for example, for 1 month, and I'm going to study the Sunnah a following month, no problem. That's an elaboration, meaning to explain them, yeah? But don't make tafriq, don't make a separation. So for example, in kufr bit ta'hut, people, they will make a separation. They make a separation, and they say there's a separation of Aqidah from the Sharia. Yeah? When we say ta'hut is what? Anything followed, obeyed and worshipped. So if there's anything followed, obeyed and worshipped instead of Allah, for example, the man-made law, and you say, this is politics, this is siyasa, this is Sharia. What are you committing? You're committing tafriq. We want to have talazum in everything. Talazum in kufr bit ta'hut. Some examples for you with regards to this tafsil, elaboration. Another word for it, let me just put the tick mark here, so, which is correct, is known as al-tabweeb. That's another word for tafsil. Both mean the same thing. Elaboration, classification. For example, tawheed. It has pillars. People are going to get hung up on words like pillars and conditions, but it has pillars. Yeah? It has particular pillars. La ilaha illallah. Yeah? When we talk about imanu billah, we have particular classifications. Classifications of what? Of imanu billah. Tawheed rububiyyah, uluhiyyah, al-asma sifat. That's not the bid'ah. If you want to elaborate on that, that is not a problem. But when you start to make separation now, and you start to say, no, Tawheed al-Hakamiyya become a bid'ah. What did you commit? You started to commit tafriq. You made a separation of Hakamiyya. This is where people, they make the error, and they end up with the result of saying, Hakamiyya become a bid'ah for us. Whereas, all we want to make is al-tafsil or al-tabweeb, classification. Give you examples of that. The deen. The deen is classified into 2. Into Aqidah and Sharia. But no separation. Yeah? No separation. The deen is classified into Aqidah and Sharia. Meaning the Aqidah is what? belief matter. And what is the Sharia in relation to? Meaning ruling, governing, fiqh issues. So you can't turn around and say, Aki, not to have the Sharia is just a fiqh issue. It's politics. No. It's part and parcel of my deen. Because what is deen? Abu Bakr can tell me what is deen.
Sharia, Tawheed,
Yeah, dawah and jihad. Yeah, deen. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said it is anything what you believe in, live by, and willing to die for dawah and jihad. So who can then turn around and say, Aki, we don't need to call for the Sharia now? Where's the evidence we need to call for the Sharia? Aki, if you understood the meaning of deen, then maybe you would understand that we need to have the Sharia. We can't have American troops sitting inside Afghanistan. They need to be removed. Another example is al-Wahi. That is classified into Quran and Sunnah. The Quranic revelation and the prophetic revelation. Then, for example, we have al-Iman. Al-Iman is again classified, meaning al-Tabweeb, into conviction and deeds. Yeah? Al-Iman itiqadi and qawlun wa amalun. And al-Zikr. Al-Zikr, that is also classified into Quran and Sunnah. So let's look to some of the examples now. I've got a title here, and I've done these little inverted commas, because that word is repeated. We have al-Talazum bayna nabuwa wal-wahi. Al-Talazum bayna tawheed wal-adl. Al-Talazum bayna shirk wal-dulum. Al-Talazum bayna nabi wal-sahabi. Al-Talazum bayna fara'idi wal-niyat. Al-Talazum bayna wala al-muslimin wal-bara al-kafirin. Al-Talazum bayna hubbu fillah wal-ta'a. Al-Talazum bayna it says democracy, but I've got on my notes here, democracia. Democracia wal-kufr. Al-Talazum bayna sawm wal-Ramadan. Al-Talazum bayna hajj wa arafa. Al-Talazum bayna maut wal-ajl. Al-Talazum bayna shirk wal-nar. It's a big list, isn't it? Al-Talazum bayna tawheed wal-jannah. There is no separation between any of these. No separation. Simply classification and elaboration. Let's look to the first one, for example. Yeah, the prophet and the revelation. Can you make separation between the two? Who in their right mind is going to make a separation between the two? Tawheed and the justice of Allah. Of course you can't. You can't make a separation between the two. Polytheism, shirk, and oppression. Shirk wa dhulm. What did Allah say about the shirk? The shirk is the greatest zulm. The greatest oppression is the shirk. So classification, no problem. If you want to classify two different terms, no problem in explaining the meaning of this, but don't make separation. They both go hand in hand. All of this is linked to Iman. Because we don't want to make a separation between those. We need to have talazum. The Prophet and his companions. Who is Abu Bakr without Rasulullah? He's just a man called Abu Bakr walking around in the desert. Who is Rasulullah without the companions? Rasulullah, he cannot complete his mission without the companions. Who else is he going to speak to? Who is he going to convey the message to? Yeah? Rasulullah just come and just speaking to nobody in the middle of Quraysh? No, he needs his companions. Al-Talazum bayna sabab wal... no, I haven't got that one here. Okay. Al-Talazum bayna faraid wal niyat. The obligation and the intention. So what's the obligation now? Give me an example of obligation. I want to put... Huh? Dawah. Okay. What did the hadith say? Every action is based upon? Yeah, that's right. Every action is based upon intention. So obligation and niyyah has talazum. To say, I got niyyah to pray salah, but you don't pray salah. I got talazum. No, you haven't. Where's your talazum there then? What did you start to? You start to make tafriq. You start to make separation. Yeah? Al-talazum bayna wala al-muslimin wal-bara al-kafirin. The love towards the Muslims and the hatred towards the kuffar has talazum. How? I love the Muslims and I love the kuffar. How does that work out? What's your love based upon? Intercourse. Intercourse. Well, that explains everything then. If it was interfaith, that explains a lot to us. It's for the sake of Allah. Yes. If it's for the sake of Allah, you love the believers for the sake of Allah. And as a consequence of that, you hate the kuffar for the sake of Allah. Okay? Al-talazum bayna hubbu fillah wal ta'a. The talazum between loving Allah and following and obeying Him. Ya, love Allah. You want the Sharia? Oh no, backward system. I don't want to cover my hair. What are you talking about? Some crazy woman yesterday we saw. She says, Islam doesn't teach us to cover our hair. There's nothing in the Quran that tells us that we must cover our hair. Don't worry, you'll find out in their judgment about that one. Yeah? Al-talazum bayna democracia wal-kufr. Democracy and kufr has talazum. Kafir has talazum as well. He's a kafir inside, he's a kafir outside as well. In and out. Yeah? Arafah and Hajj. death and a lifespan. Al-talazum bayna maut wal ajal. The death and the lifespan, they're both synonymous. Both go hand in hand. Shirk wal nar. You can't tell me that you do shirk all your life and I'm going to go to Jannah. No. Shirk wal nar, they have talazum and monotheism and paradise. That also has talazum. So that talazum is absolutely essential for us to understand. Because as a consequence of not having that particular talazum, we start to have issues when it comes to the vital issue, the vital affairs which are affecting the ummah. For example, the need for sharia. If we just look to those examples now, people will say now, Ya akhi, what can we do? Allah is the one who sent this king down for us. Yeah? You made, Allah the one who sent down this king. So what are you going to do about it? Oh, okay, it's qadr of Allah. What do? You made a separation between the Sharia and the Tawheed. As a consequence of that, we have Taghut king. And whose fault is that? Don't try to blame Allah. Your fault because you don't remove him. So when people say Allah will never change the condition until they change that which is within themselves. You're not talking about going inside the middle of the corner and doing a stinja properly and making sure the backside is cleaned and you ain't got anything hanging off the backside of that. No, it means the king's over there in that corner. You go over there and give him a thump and remove him from the chair. Allah will never change the condition of the people until they change themselves. Yeah, we need to change ourselves. Man up and go there and chuck him out. Don't just sit there and start to become coward. So just some examples I got here. The apostasy of the rulers, occupation of Muslim land. Yeah? This fool, he came on one program. It was called From Jail to Jihad once, yeah? And they asked this imam, they were talking about radicalization in the prisons. I was going to say Muslim prisons. Might as well call it that anyway, yeah? Same thing anyway, yeah? And he said, how do you deal, it's very posh, how do you deal with somebody who wants to ask you about Iraq? Oh, this is very easy. I tell them, it's our fault. Because we don't wake up for Salatul Fajr. This is why Allah is sending the Americans to punish us. Really? You're going to tell that to Fatima inside Abu Ghraib prison? You're going to tell that to people inside Guantanamo Bay? Go over there to Guantanamo Bay as your nice ambassador, imam, and say, Allah is punishing you because you didn't wake up for Fajr. Yeah? Come here, I'll give you the Maghrib. Boom. You know what I mean? The sun ain't going to come up again after that. You know what I mean? Yeah? So, that is what we need to understand with regards to the topic of talazum. When we talk about the iman, we said it has three pillars: al-ikrar bil lisan, al-amal al-jawari, and i'tiqad bil qalb. It's a saying, action, and belief. So let's look to some of those functions of the heart. Yeah. Excuse the Chinese handwriting, without any offense to the Chinese. Yaqeen, that is a function of the heart. Yeah? You must have full yaqeen upon the word of Allah, or kalamullah. When you say your shahada, you must have full yaqeen. Taqwa. That again, that is a function of the heart. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in a hadith, at-taqwa ha-huna, ha-huna, ha-huna. And he pointed 3 times towards the heart. You see, and we discussed the topic in another session which we did. We said the taqwa is to avoid the haram. You see, is to avoid the haram. Abu Hurairah, he said, the taqwa is to go through the field and it has many pricks, many thorns, not pricks, many thorns, yeah? And to avoid them and get to the other end, that is the taqwa. That's a very good narration. You know why? Because what do we prove then? Taqwa is not just in the heart, but it's also in the saying and it's also in the action. I'm walking in the field. You see, you can't just say, yeah, inside my heart, yeah, I fear Allah. Yeah, I have taqwa inside my heart. Yeah, man of taqwa, Abu Taqwa. We do taqwa. I was talking to these people once. I say, why don't you go and pray Taraweeh? Taraweeh, we don't even fast. Why don't you fast? We don't even pray. MashaAllah, he's so arrogant to say that, yeah? Another one. Tawakkul. Tawakkul, complete reliance upon Allah Azza wa Jal. Yeah? Meaning I don't fear anybody. I fear only Allah Azza wa Jal. I rely upon Him for my sustenance, for my rizq, for my lifespan. Somebody's going to say, now I'm not going to go all the way to Iraq or Afghanistan or Palestine to help the Muslims, to deliver some food aid. I might die. Who told you you're going to die? Could be you go there. Many people go there and they don't die. Someone might say, for example, I'm going to go to Afghanistan to die. I've got an appointment with Allah. Maybe someone might say that, yeah? But not necessarily he's going to die. The ajal is in the hands of Allah, yeah? Ikhlas, sincerity, that is a function of the heart. Yeah? Where's the sincerity like? Yeah, I'm very sincere. You don't know how sincere I am. Yeah? You don't know how sincere I am. I really love Allah. I don't know how sincere I am. I'm giving money all for the sake of Allah. Yeah? And afterwards I see the man, he's blocking the door at the mosque and he's saying, wait a minute now, yeah? I'm really sincere. Cameraman, take a picture of me as well while I'm giving out all of this money towards the mosque. This man completely full. How does man have a class? A class that is a function of the heart. Al-hub and bughd, love and hatred, stems from where? Stems from the heart. You can't be saying, yeah, I love you, from the tongue, yeah? But inside your heart, you hate the person. The love and the hate, it begins within the heart. It's a function of the heart. What's the next one? Khushu. How do you have the khushu inside the salah? Let me just go and buy a t-shirt and it's going to say khushu on top of it. Maybe there's a hat that I can buy, khushuhat.com. Maybe someone might do that. But that doesn't give you khushu. Khushu is something that you need to perfect. It's a function of the heart. Also, khawf, to fear Allah. But not the fear like you fear like a monster. Like your father-in-law comes around, let me just hide in the corner, pretend I'm dead or something. No. Fear, meaning the fear of Allah, you fear Allah, so you rush towards Him, to worship Him. Al-khawf is a function of the heart. Wara. What's wara? Wara is a function of the heart. Wara is higher than taqwa. That is to leave those doubtful matters. So something doubtful, I will stay away from. So for example, stunned meat is doubtful, I'll stay away from it. There's no way. Why is it doubtful? Because there's no way of knowing whether the sheep is actually dead or alive because of that particular electrocution. Al-sidq, being truthful, that is a function of the heart. Yeah, to be truthful. And that's also a condition of the shahada. Ilm, yaqeen, qabul, inqiyad, al-sidq, to be truthful, to believe upon it, to act upon all of the revelation. All of these are conditions of the heart, or functions of the heart. So iman, it occurs on the heart. And there's, for each one of them, you could probably quote about 50 hadith if you wanted to. Al-wala, al-bara, ikhlas, tawakkul. These are whole topics on its own. People give lectures, they talk about these topics, isn't it? Yeah? So what's the next one then? Sayings. Okay, so what's a saying that we can do which formulates part of the iman? Shahada. Iman is there. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he said the one who converts to Islam and he has the capability to say the shahada, and he does not say the shahada by the tongue, he's still a kafir. He's still a kafir. So the shahada, to speak the haqq, that is a saying of the tongue. This one is okay. Okay. Commanding good, forbidding evil. These are all functions of the tongue. They all have their roots, by the way, in the heart. Because who's going to command good and forbid evil without sincerity? Oh, I'm getting paid for it. Yeah. GPU, gay peace and unity. No. Commanding good, forbidding evil, it is a function of the tongue. But is it just a function of the tongue? No. But what did the hadith say? The one who sees the munkar, let him change it by the hand. And if he cannot, then let him speak out against it. Then if he cannot, hate it from the heart. So that falls into all three of them, in fact. Commanding good, forbidding evil. You can say for all three. Heart, sayings, and action. Qira'ah, to recite. Can you just recite inside your heart? What about Maghrib? When you lead the Maghrib prayer or the Isha prayer, you read it silently or you say it? You say it. Because someone say, no, it's just inside my heart. No, you have to say, the Qira'ah is with the tongue. Salam. Talafis, I think they got this one confused because they never say salam to us. Yeah? I think they really believe inside, they're walking around. Well, you didn't hear me. I said it inside my heart. Assalamu alaikum. What are you talking about? This man complete foolish, yeah? Inside my heart, I said salam. That is complete rubbish. Okay, limbs. And don't get confused with Cutty Ranks, because he used to have a track called Limb by Limb. We cut them rude boy down. Yeah, there was some track called Limb by Limb. Huh? Action, yeah, limbs, actions. I was going to draw a man with dreadlocks here, but I'm not going to do that. There's a group, they call themselves the movement, but we're the Tawheed movement. If you know about grime. We're very criminal, you get me? You know what I mean? You see Umar al-Faruq? He said, you cannot attack kufr until you don't know kufr. So when people say, you imams, you mullanas, you don't know nothing about the youth. Trust me, we know JME, we know Skepta, we know Dizzy Rascal, we know Eski Boy, we know Eskimo Dance, we know all of that stuff. Yeah, we know all about them. Trust me, Gets, Scorcher, Wretch Free 2. We hear about all of these things on the street. Just so we can attack it. We're the original London boys. Okay, action of the limbs. Hijrah. Hijrah, that is a function of the limbs. Salah, function of the limbs. Yeah, Aki, I've been praying for 40 years. I haven't seen you pray for 40 years. What have you been doing? Allah Akbar. Salam. What kind of salah is that? Some 1 minute salah. No. Jihad. Yeah? Jihad al-Nafs. Oh, I like this one. Jihad al-Nafs. I remember there was one sheikh inside Pakistan. He said, these people, they say, Aki, we're doing the greater jihad. We're doing greater jihad, Jihad al-Nafs. Say, aja chup kar. Asi vada jihad karne, tu aake chota jihad kar rahe hain. You know what I mean? If you think this is a minor jihad we're doing inside Afghanistan, you go and do the minor jihad and we'll go on a holiday and do Jihad al-Nafs, innit? Jihad al-Akbar, and we'll get more reward than you, innit? You know what I mean? Changing munkar, all three of them. Wudu, action of the limbs. You can't just have wudu. Wudu is just a state of mind. Some foolish people inside South America, they started to say, Aki, we don't need to have wudu anymore. You know why? Because back then they never had showers. So we just have a shower and that's your wudu. That's not your wudu. Sujood. There's many actions you can add about 50,000 to each one of them. Heart, sayings and actions. All of them, they are part of the Iman. Let me rub this off the board and I'm going to teach you about science now. So if anyone comes inside the room now and they say, are you lot terrorists? Say, no, we're learning about science. When I was in school, yeah, I don't know what the score is now, yeah, but they used to say, if you want to go and do an A-level, you have to get 5 GCSEs. So me being a Paki, I'm only going to study for 5 GCSEs. If that's all I need to get onto the A-level course, I ain't going to worry about 10 different courses. Science, I looked at that one on my list. I don't plan to become a scientist. Maths, I don't want to work inside the bank. Then I found out you need maths and English, so that one I have to fake a certificate for, yeah? But if you ever studied science, and you studied about fire, oh, that's wrong. The only good thing about the science class for me was it was an opportunity to steal light bulbs and batteries. Yeah? That's what I liked about it. And the other boys, they used to like German, because they used to think the teacher was peng. Okay. In science, if you want to make fire, you need 3 components. You are a terrorist. Ox. Good. How was it? Irhabi. The Iman for us is exactly the same as fire. If you want to know how this Iman it functions, then this is the best way to put it to you. Action, sayings. That is belief. How is this exactly the same? Because we say Iman, it has 3 particular components. If any one of them are missing, then they will go out. If we make this analogy with the diagram of fire, you can see the oxygen is belief, the fuel it is action, and the heat it is the sayings. Right? Let's just look to the fuel and towards the heat now. The fuel and the heat, they make the fire, and the oxygen now. If we cut off the oxygen, what happens to the fire? It goes out. Just like the Iman. If we take away the sayings now, yeah, I pray Salah, but with my tongue I say I'm a kafir. I openly say I'm a kafir. Yeah? Then the fire, it would go out. Now, I want to ask you, because you're the expert now, because you studied this course, yeah? Right? I got my fire here. I got all three components. How do I make the fire increase?
You increase in your atmosphere.
Can I increase the oxygen? No. All right. So why? You know why? That's hidayah. That's belief. That's from Allah. So what do I increase in? Actions and the sayings. Exactly the same as the fire diagram. You like this one? I like this one as well. So, fire. Blown up. Bam, 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 bam. Merc shank. You killed. You got, yeah, that's it. He's done, yeah? So it increases the iman with the sayings and the actions. Okay, I want to decrease the flames. What do? I decrease in the fuel and the heat. I decrease in the actions and the sayings. So now what's going to happen now? I'm very unhappy. Okay? And now, how do I make the fire become a kafir? What do? I do this, and this one become Iqbal Sakrani. This one become Kafir Murtad. How? Because he negated any one of these. So we say that Iman, it increases with good deeds, decreases with bad deeds, and is negated by anything kufr and shirk. Not allowed to draw pictures, so don't make takfeer upon me. It's not kufr akbar anyway. But that was just one way of showing you how the Iman, it functions. What exactly is the Iman? Now, although we said this, and it's very easy to understand that this is where the Iman is. You understand, all that was just to show you, where is the Iman? It is on the sayings, it is on the tongue, and it is on the limbs. By all of those different matters which we showed. However, now, I'm going to give you all of the evidences, and you're going to have a lot of evidences now, yeah? About where is the proof that Iman is saying? Where is the proof that Iman is action? And where is the proof that Iman is in the heart? The first thing we're going to start off with is the niyyah. Yeah, the Iman in the heart, the function of the heart. The Iman is in the heart. What is the evidence for that? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in a hadith, every action is based upon the niyyah. That's a famous hadith. You can find that in Bukhari. More than that, the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said the niyyah is settled in the heart. I got niyyah to go Hajj one day. Yeah, no, you said it by the tongue. But the niyyah, it starts with the heart. Function of the heart. That's hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. And when we mention this, we take a literal meaning of the heart, not metaphorical. You know why? Because some deviant sects, they will say, they confuse the heart and the mind as separate. So they say the niyyah is settled in the heart, and when they say heart, they don't say heart as in here. They say heart is there, but mind is there. But how do Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah understand what is the heart and what is the mind? Forget the heart now, what's the mind? Imam Shafi, he said the mind is where? Here. What's up here? Brain. Whether you got one or not is a different question, yeah? Brain is there. Imam Shafi, he said the mind is here. So when someone says, I think, where do you really think from? No, you're not thinking up there. You just got a headache. But you think from here. If I ask you now, for example now, Abu Bakr now, what do you feel like? Chicken or lamb? You're going to ask your brain, where's the feelings going to come from? The heart. If, for example now, I steal one of his shoes now, he's going to start crying. Why is he going to be upset for? Because his heart is broken. His girlfriend left him maybe. Auzubillah. Okay, his wife maybe left him. Auzubillah. Bad example, yeah? Okay, yeah? But maybe, for example, someone left you, okay? Your cat left you, alright? That's a better example. Your cat left you now, yeah? Why are you going to be so upset for? Because your brain told you? No, because of here. You see? When someone thinks, for example, let me get a number. Let me take it to a hotel. Let me do this, let me do that. Where do you get that from? It's not all Eski boy's fault. It's your heart as well. You see? Eski boy. Okay. So, we take the literal meaning of the heart. Umar al-Faruq, he said, that Rasulullah said, every action is on the niyyah and every man will get what he intended. You see? So you link the action and the niyyah together. Whoever makes hijrah for Allah and His Messenger, his hijrah is for Allah and His Messenger. And whosoever makes hijrah for the dunya or for the woman to get married, his hijrah is for whatever he intended. So you see, I mentioned the hijrah as an action on the limbs, But still, the hijrah, its stem is where? Where is the root of the hijrah? With the heart, function of the heart. So you link that together. So this means the action is the same as the niyyah, even if you commit the kufr action, but you don't have the intention to. Why? Because there's talazum between the two. Because we refer to the diagram, yeah, the fire diagram, yeah. The iman will be negated just like the fire by the heart, the tongue, and the limbs. You can't tell me, yeah, but the oxygen is there, the fuel is there, yeah. But what about the third component? Oh, that's been wiped out. No, if that's been wiped out, that will negate all three of them, because we understand. All we're doing is elaboration. We're not making separation. Problem is, if you make separation, if you start to make that separation now between all three of them, then of course what you will say is, kufr can only occur by kufr ittiqadi, like some people they say. And there's something called kufr amali. So you can do all the kufr amali under the sun, but so long as you have imanic saying and imanic belief, therefore you go to Jannah, is not the case. Not the case at all. Abu Hurairah, he reported from Rasulullah, and this is reported in Sahih Bukhari, anybody who testifies that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, sincerely in his heart. Yeah? Where did he testify it from? With his heart and with his tongue. But when we say the tongue, we don't just mean tongue as in, what's a tongue? Show me your tongue. Yeah. Tongue. He's got a gun. Look. Yeah? The tongue, we say that is a function of the limbs as well. That's why we say it in that order. We say tongue, action, and then limbs. So for example, someone will say, for example now, if someone comes to you now, yeah, and said to you, Akhi, I don't have beard. And you tell him, look, beard is wajib for you to grow, yeah? And he says to you, look, what it is, yeah? I don't have conviction about it. What does he mean by conviction? Conviction doesn't mean convinced. Meaning, he means, I don't have full yaqeen upon it. I don't have that hidayah. Who is the one who gives the hidayah? Allah Azza wa Jal. So what do you say to the person? Wait till you get the hidayah and then do it? Rather, we do the opposite. We say, and then we do the action, and then wait for the hidayah to come later on. And this happened, in fact, with one sister. Live example I'll give you. One sister, she met Sheikh Umar, and she was arguing a lot. You know some women, yeah, they argue too much, yeah, and then, you know, you have to throw them out. But the best thing to do is, you don't need to throw them out. You go and make wudu. If you're in a bad mood, you go and make wudu. But some women are a complete disaster, and that's why some brothers, they want 4 wives. But anyway, that's another topic on its own, yeah. But this one sister, she started complaining. She started saying, I can't wear the hijab. I'm not convinced yet. And the Shaykh, he just got angry, yeah. He said, look, just go, do the action, and the hidayah will come later on. You know what happened with the sister? She covered herself. Later on, Allah knows if the hidayah came or not. But later on, she went to one university, an Islamic university, studied there, and she wrote an entire book on khimar and jilbab. And you know what she said at the very beginning, after the bismillah and everything? She said, the best advice I can give you is the advice which one shaykh he gave me once. Do the action and wait for the hidayah to come later on. Trust me, it works. Trust me, it works. I know one brother from Germany, yeah? Allah give him the Jannah, one brother. He's a convert to Islam. He used to know him many years ago, inshallah, yeah? I asked him, you know what, he's one of those proper German guys. He had a red beard. You know, like one of those pirates, yeah? He's got like red beard, full imama, and he was always at Finsbury Park Mosque, yeah, with Abu Hamza. I used to think, this brother's rough, you know? Looks like some Chechen mujahid. So I said to him, why did you become Muslim? You know, everyone's got a story, isn't it, yeah? Well, I became Muslim because what it is man, life, universe, I had a baby, whatever it is. You know what he said? He said, I become Muslim because of the Chechen Mujahideen. I said, what about the Chechen Mujahideen? He said, they just look so cool. It was so fashionable. All my mates started to become Muslim, so I decided to become a Muslim. I said, what, this is like a trend, yeah? He goes, yeah, it was a big trend in the 90s. Bare people were becoming Muslim. Everybody was just taking Shahada just like that. I goes, what happened then? He goes, then I went to Pakistan, I went here, I went there, I traveled around the Muslim world, saw about the beauty of Islam, studied a little bit more, I retook my Shahada. SubhanAllah. So what did he do? He done the action, and then he waited for the yaqeen to come afterwards. The yaqeen or the hidayah to come later on. And that's the best thing to do. Even if something you're not convinced about, I'm not too sure about it, do it. If you got the evidence for it, it's rewardable, do it. It will come later on. Yeah? If you're confused about your sincerity, that's another thing altogether, that's another subject matter altogether. But do the action, the hidayah will come later on. You know what I mean? Don't have this rubbish. We don't have gradualism in Islam whatsoever. When the ayah came down, tell the believing women to cover themselves. You know what the sahabiyat they did? They took even the tea cloth and covered their head with it. Not like, I'm not ready yet. What do you mean you're not ready yet? Get out of the house then, innit? So you got a daughter, she says, yeah, I'm 17 years old now, I'm not going to cover myself. On your bike, Maggie. You can go outside, Maggie. Yeah, on your bike, and you can go, chip. Yeah, I'm not going to let you corrupt the rest of the children, innit? You know, you don't want to cover yourself, you can go wherever you want, mate. Like that. Very simple. Black and white. You see? So hidayah is in the hands of Allah. But there can be certain things which can make the hidayah come to you, and there can be certain things which can be a prevention of the hidayah. Certain things can be prevention of the hidayah. For example, lack of sincerity. Lack of not wanting to do the action. Ma'asi, bad sins. That's a whole topic. We'll discuss that one day. The preventions of al-hidayah. Now, this particular hadith, which we mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, that anybody who testifies that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is the messenger sincerely in his heart will enter the Jannah and will be forbidden from the hellfire. This condemns one particular sect known as the Mu'tazila or the Karamiyah. What do they say about Iman? Iman is only on the tongue, because they say Iman is not in the heart. They say the saying is enough. Yeah, they say the iman is on the saying, not on the heart. What is their ta'wil? Their ta'wil is the heart is the mind. So we use that to refute. We're doing okay? Yep. We got till 8:30. Yeah, now 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay, Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, and this is hadith mawkuf, he said the shyness and the iman are always together. If one is removed, the other one will be removed. Just to show you function of the heart. Yeah. So when I said before, I said, look, the iman, it has a general and specific details. That we call it mujmal and tafsili. Mujmal is known as general iman, and tafsili is known as the specific details of iman. So al-haya, haya, shyness, that is a detailed part of iman. However, we say some parts of iman would negate the whole of iman, whereas other parts would only decrease it. If you don't have haya, do you become kafir? No, you don't. So that decreases the iman. But certain branches of iman, they would negate the iman. This is why I said I don't really want to go into those areas too much of kufr and shirk as part of this course. Otherwise, we're going to have to study the 60 or 70 odd branches, every single one of them. And there is a topic like that, which Sheikh Umar he gave. He went for all the 60 or 70 odd branches of Iman. It's massive. We're never going to finish the course. So I just want to try and make it more comprehensive. Abu Hurairah, he said, he reported from Rasulullah as saying, Al-Hayya is from Iman, and Iman is in Jannah. And shamelessness is from Jaffa. Jaffa is rejection, and Jaffa is in the fire. Let me give you one more evidence for the Iman is near. Reported from Abi Umama, and this is Hadith Sahih Marfu, that Rasulullah said, Al-Hayya is speaking only what is important and not what is useful, what is useless. And these are two branches of Iman. Yeah, I'll repeat that. Al-Hayya is speaking only what is important and not what is useless. And these are two branches of Iman. I think that's enough just to show you Iman is the Niyyah. Yeah, I did cut this down majorly. If you think this is a lot, this isn't, because there was, for this Iman is Niyyah, there was about 4 times more evidence than what I actually just done. I cut down a lot. Iman is saying. Let's go to the Iman is saying. Where's the evidences for Iman is saying? Rasulullah said, I've been ordered to fight the people until they testify by their tongue that La ilaha illallah, and they establish the salah and the zakah, and after that they are protected from me, their life, their wealth and their property, except by haqq. This one, it shows two. It shows Iman, it is saying and action. But what does it say? What does it show us? That Iman is saying first, not conviction. We don't say the order of Iman is heart, tongue, then limbs. No, it is tongue, limbs, then heart. So you say by the tongue first. Yeah. More than that, been reported in the Sharh of Muslim, the explanation of Sahih Muslim by Imam Nawawi, Volume 1, page 212. Iman has condition. Imam Nawawi said the Iman has condition to testify the two kalimas with belief in both of them and to believe in all what the messenger he brought. Yeah? So what did he say? Did he say believe first and then say? He said to testify first and then to believe after. If you're convinced, for example, Islam is the haqq, yeah? Because that's a condition of the shahada, do it. Just say the shahada, and any doubt that you may have in your mind, or you think that, no, that's from shaitan. You just say the shahada, hidayah will come later on. That's the advice we give. If somebody comes, we don't say to them, yeah, no, you're right, you shouldn't become a Muslim. Go away. No, we say, if you're ready now to say the shahada, do you bear witness that he's the only one worthy of worship and that Muhammad is his messenger? Then no problem. You say the shahada. Ibn Taymiyyah, he said the two shahada in the Majmu' al-Fatawa, volume 7, page 219. The two shahada. If he did not say them and he is capable, he is a kafir. By the ijma' of the Muslims and the four imams, both his inner and his outer is a kafir. That's a tough one, Ibn Taymiyyah. Abdullah ibn Umar, he said that Rasulullah said, a mu'min does not insult, a mu'min does not swear, a mu'min does not speak fahisha, a mu'min is not someone who swears all the time. So just showing you that the action or the sin can be on the action, and the iman is also on the action. Otherwise you could say the mu'min can swear, the mu'min can do everything. Why? Because iman is inside the heart. Why didn't Rasulullah say that? Mu'min can swear so long as he doesn't believe. It's not allowed inside the heart. No. Hadith from, we mentioned this one already, yeah? Oh, this is a nice one. Al-Ammash, he narrated from Jami ibn Shaddad, from Aswad, that Muad ibn Jabal said. Yeah, so Aswad, one companion, and Muad ibn Jabal, they said to one another, they said, sit with us and let us have iman for 1 hour. How? They sat down and they were reciting the Quran. So what was that Quran? Action and saying as well. It occurs on both, yeah? So they called the qira'ah here the iman, just to remove any doubt that iman is saying and action. Also, Muhammad bin Talha, he reported from Zubayd that Umar al-Faruq, he used to see a man from his friends and he used to say, let us go and increase our iman. And then they used to go together and command good and forbid evil. You see Umar al-Faruq? He used to stand in the middle of the street and wait. This one messing around, this one doing something silly. That's the best job to have. That's the dream job to have, the Qadi Hisbah. Remember the Qadi Hisbah? Judge of the marketplace. The one who's sitting there with gangsters in the marketplace. Anybody walking around steps out of line. Wait, what are you doing? Yeah, I just feel like flexing my muscles. Flexing your muscles, give him 10 lashes. Ow, that hurt. Shush your mouth, give him 10 more lashes on top of that. That's the dream job. Qadi Hisbah. Yeah, and Usama. Who's Usama? Usama is the woman in the marketplace as well. This one walking around, she's chewing some gum inside her mouth, yeah, and she's got her hand like that. She's walking around, shaking everything. What are you doing over there? Yeah, I'm a free woman, I can do whatever I want. Usama, come over here. Usama is one of those big African heavyweight women, you know what I mean? Yeah, come over here, couple of 10 lashes. Ow, that hurt. Wait, voice is outer, silence yourself, or you get another 10 more lashes as well. You see that? So, Ibn Thabit, he also reported, he said that Abdullah ibn Rawaha used to take a score of his friends and used to say, let us go and believe in Allah, let us have imanu billah for 1 hour, let us go and read the Quran, make dhikr of Allah and increase our iman, let us go remember Allah by increasing our obedience so that He may remember us with His forgiveness. See, beautiful hadith, that one. Okay, where's the proof that iman is actions? 3 pages. Push it, don't worry. 8:30. Something about the darts in it. Iman is actions. Give you loads of evidence. I'm just going to read them all out one by one. You can just write down all the references. Surah Mulk, verse number 2. Allah said, Allah is the one who created the death and the life in order to test you to see who is best in action. So Allah, He wants us to prove iman by action. Also Allah said in Surah Al-Kahf, verse number 7, verily we made that which is on the earth as a dazzling for it in order that we may test them, mankind, as to which of them are best in deeds, showing that action is part of iman. Also Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 143, that we made, Allah said, thus we have made you an ummah Ummatul Wasata, a justly balanced ummah, that you may be a witness over the nations, and a messenger, and the messenger a witness over yourselves. And we appointed a qibla to which you was used to, only to test those who followed the messenger from those who were turned on their heels from the faith. Indeed, it was a change of momentous one, except to those guided by Allah. And never would Allah make your iman of no effect, for Allah is to all people most surely full of kindness and merciful. So here, the Mufassirin, they explain that this ayah explains all three components of iman, saying, action and belief. And the asbab al-nuzul with regards to this ayah is what? The changing of the qibla. Where was the original qibla? Jerusalem. After it being changed, some people, they started to doubt, and they said they're going to lose the reward. Allah who revealed this verse, Baqarah verse 143, that you would never lose any reward for any deed that you did for the sake of Allah. Imam Abu Hanifa, he used to say that iman increases and can weaken. Imam Malik, he believed that iman always increases but may weaken. Whereas Imam Shafi and Imam Ahmed, they believe iman increases and decreases, and they all agree that iman is negated from the kufr sayings and actions. More than that, just to show you that actions are part of the iman, Imam Shafi, he wrote a book called Kitab al-Umm, the chapter Babu Ridda. He mentioned 200 things which can make you become kafir, and the majority of them are what? Sayings and actions. And from those, 10 of those matters which make you become kafir was then compiled by Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab in his book Nawaqid al-Islam. Just to refute those people who don't say that action is not part of the iman, Imam Malik, he said the saying that salah is not iman is the saying of the Murjiyah. Why? Because the Murjiyah, they separate the Sharia from the Aqidah, and that cannot be separated except for the purpose of tafsil, for the sake of elaboration. They asked the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't have the reference for this, but the Sahabi, they asked, Ya Rasulullah, which action is better? Which action is the best? He said to believe in Allah and the Messenger. So he linked the iman and the actions in this hadith. Yeah? And then he said the action is the best from al-iman. Just to show you that. And so you refer to iman as action, and that is agreed upon. Sahih Muslim, most famous hadith, iman is some 70 odd branches. The best of it is to say la ilaha illallah, and the lowest of it is to remove something harmful from the road, and haya is from the iman. Doesn't mean tomorrow you become a road sweeper, by the way, yeah? Just in case you hear that, you think, oh yeah, the iman is become road sweeper. No, don't need to do that. Here we go. Sahih Muslim, very famous one. Whoever he sees a munkar, let him change it by the hand. Too many. Rasulullah said, he is not a mu'min, the one who his neighbor is not secure from his bad actions. Yeah? So he linked the actions to be valid to the person's iman. Also, in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, by Allah, he is not a believer. He is not a believer. He is not a believer. 3 times he said, the one who his neighbor is not secure from his bad actions. Yeah? Another one, Bukhari and Muslim again. There is no way for the one whilst he is drinking alcohol to be a mu'min, or whilst he is stealing to be a mu'min, or while he is committing zina to be a mu'min. Doesn't mean the person becomes kafir, mean iman being decreased. So if we say iman is not actions, or if the iman is separated from the actions, then we say the person's actions could never have this negation of iman, and that is what is agreed upon. That iman is sayings, actions, and it increases and decreases. Anas bin Malik, he reported the Prophet said, the one who has no imana has no iman. Imana meaning the trust, meaning if you don't keep the trust, you have no iman, and that is evidence that iman is actions, as otherwise keeping or leaving the amana will not have any effect on their iman. I think that's enough, you know that, for the actions, isn't it? Or you want 2 more pages worth? Yeah. You're convinced about it, yeah? Alhamdulillah, convinced about it. Okay, we'll finish it there. So we prove now, iman is saying, action, and belief. The next topic which we need to study is al-irja. Before we study the irja, there's one other topic which we need to just finish off this particular part of the study, which is that where is the evidence that iman increases and decreases and can be negated? And it's not that big. I'm just going to go through a few things. I'll do that next week with you. So next week we will study how the iman increases and decreases and can be negated with evidences, as well as what is irja and the origins of the murjia, the diseases of the, and if we can squeeze it all in, then we'll also discuss who are the khawarij. But knowing me, you know, I like to go on for hours and hours. I probably won't even get that far, inshallah. So, wa sallallahu sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Same time, same place. See you here, or B square.